Most guys have a fragrance routine that works perfectly fine in October. Then summer shows up, and suddenly that same routine just stops working. You spray in the morning, smell great, walk out feeling good, and by noon, it's like you never put anything on. So naturally, you start blaming the fragrance. Maybe it's weak, maybe you need a better bottle, maybe you just need more sprays. And none of that's actually the problem. The problem is that summer plays by completely different rules, and almost nobody talks about that specifically. Heat, sweat, UV exposure, all of it changes how fragrance behaves on your skin. So this video is the summer version of the rules most guys never get told. First, we need to understand why this happens. So basically, your fragrance is aromatic oils dissolved in alcohol. When you spray it, the alcohol evaporates, carrying those oils into the air around you. That's projection. The problem is that heat speeds the whole process up. Your skin and air are hotter and everything evaporates faster. What throws people off is that in summer, your fragrance actually smells stronger right after you spray it, which feels great, so you walk out thinking you're set for the day. But that big burst of scent is just the heat pulling everything out at once. You're getting more projection, but you're also burning through it faster. So by noon it's gone, and you're standing there wondering what happened. Then sweat joins the party. Sweat can dilute the fragrance sitting on your skin and mess with how it develops. So you can smell amazing at 9 a.m. and by 1 p.m. it's either disappeared or smells a little off. That's not necessarily the fragrance. That's just summer doing what summer does. Alright, so let's now talk about the morning routine, because honestly, this is where most guys are already losing before they even step outside. First, shower. Then, when you get out, don't fully dry off. Apply your moisturizer while your skin is still slightly damp. It sounds boring, I know, but this is one of those small things that genuinely makes a difference. Moisturized skin gives the fragrance something to hold on to. On the other hand, dry skin has nothing to hold the fragrance in place, so it just sits on the surface and evaporates straight off. Now, for summer specifically, you want something lightweight and water-based, not a thick body butter. Those feel fine in winter. In summer, they feel like you're wearing a sweater made of moisturizer. A basic, unscented, water-based lotion is all you need. That's what I use, and I genuinely notice a difference when I use it versus when I skip it. If you want to take it a step further, try fractionated coconut oil. It's cheap, a bottle lasts forever, and it absorbs fast with basically no residue. The fatty acids in it bond with fragrance molecules and slow down evaporation. That's documented cosmetic science and not a random claim. A few drops on your pulse points before spraying, and you'll feel the difference by the afternoon. Wait a minute after moisturizing, then spray. And this is the part that surprises most people. Use fewer sprays than you normally would. Like significantly fewer. 2, maybe 3 max. The heat is already amplifying your projection. The guy doing 6 sprays in July isn't getting more longevity, he's just becoming everyone's problem. You don't need more fragrance in summer, you need better conditions for the fragrance you're already wearing. One more thing before we move on. Fragrance doesn't cover body odor. I know that sounds obvious, but a lot of guys genuinely treat it like it can. Showering less in summer thinking more sprays will cover it. It doesn't work like that. Bad hygiene and fragrance together in summer heat smells significantly worse than either one alone. And if you're trying to compensate with more sprays, you're just making a bigger problem. The foundation has to be clean skin. Shower, unscented deodorant, neutral body wash, let the fragrance be the only thing doing the talking. Everything else should just be clean. Okay, so now that we've covered the routine, let's talk about where you're actually spraying, because summer changes this more than most people realize. The chest and front of your neck, classic spots, right? In summer, they're actually some of the worst places for a lot of guys because they tend to be high sweat areas. And sweat sitting on top of your fragrance is usually where that weird off smell starts coming from. Better summer spots are the inner elbow, the back of the neck, and honestly, wherever you personally sweat less. Some guys sweat heavily on the chest, some on their wrists, some barely at all on their forearms. Pay attention to your own body here because this genuinely varies from person to person. Now, 2 spots that are seriously underrated. Your collar or the cuffs of your shirt. Fabric holds fragrance way better than skin in summer. It doesn't sweat, doesn't heat up the same way, and every time you move, the scent gets pushed back into the air around you. A light spray on your collar in the morning can still be going strong hours later, when your skin has already waved the white flag. Just avoid white shirts with darker fragrances. Staining is a very real thing. Also, your hair. Yeah, really. Hair holds scent incredibly well, and as you move throughout the day, it helps disperse the fragrance around you naturally. Just don't spray directly onto your hair because the alcohol can dry it out. Spray your hairbrush instead, run it through, and done. Now, I want to clear something up real quick because this one confuses people. If you already own a fresh summer fragrance and it comes in both EDT and EDP, the EDP version will usually last longer in the heat. It has a higher oil concentration, so it tends to hold up better against sweat, heat, and everything else summer throws at it. The important part is keeping the fragrance itself fresh. This isn't permission to wear the heaviest amber or oud EDP you own in 90-degree weather. Something like Le Beau by JPG is a good example. Honestly, one of my personal favorites in summer. That fresh coconut vibe just works on a hot day. Light enough that it doesn't become overwhelming, and concentrated enough to actually stick around. Compare that to a thick amber or oud EDP in the middle of July, and it's a completely different story. That's when you stop smelling good and start smelling like a problem. Fresh and aquatic in EDP form. That's usually the sweet spot. Now look, in summer, you're probably going to need to reapply at some point during the day. And that's completely fine. It's not a failure of your routine or your fragrance. Summer days are long, hot, and you're asking a lot more from a fragrance than you are in October. Keep a small travel atomizer in your bag. They're cheap, easy to fill, and take up almost no space. If you're at a barbecue, at the beach, or just out all day and want to smell good going into the evening, that little bottle is a lifesaver. One thing though, before you reapply, wipe the area down first. Spraying fresh fragrance directly onto sweaty skin creates this weird, muddled smell that's genuinely worse than just smelling like nothing. Quick wipe with a tissue, then spray. Takes 5 seconds. And please, do not keep your travel bottle in your car's glove box. A parked car in summer turns into an oven. Leave it there long enough and you'll invent a new concentration. Bag or backpack only. And that's honestly the whole system. Water-based moisturizer on damp skin, fewer sprays than you think, smarter spots that sweat less, EDP if you have the option, and something small in your bag for the afternoon. Hopefully, it saves you from spending more dollars trying to solve a problem that lotion and a travel atomizer would have fixed. And if you made it this far, you're definitely not the average guy when it comes to fragrance. So subscribe! We have got plenty more to talk about.